and welcome to StampsAndScrapbooks.com. Today I have a great Gatefold Easel card tutorial for you. This card looks like your average bear from the outside, but when you open it up, it reveals the easel card inside. So it's a pretty fabulous card. So to get started, I am going to give you step-by-step video instructions. We're going to begin with our paper trimmer, and we're going to put our cardstock in at 2 1/8. So there's your measurement right there. We're going to be using our score blade and just score all the way down the cardstock at 2 1/8. You're then going to flip it over and do exactly the same thing on the other side where you're scoring at 2 1/8. You're going to turn your cardstock and you're going to score it first at 2 3/4 and then at 5 1/2. So you're going to have all of these grids on here now. So we're going to be cutting, but only down to this 5 1/2 inch score line. So you're going to put your cardstock in at 2 1/4. You're going to bring your blade up to the top and you're going to drag your cutting blade down to that 5 1/2, and you can see it right here on your ruler. You're going to turn it over and you're going to do the same thing, put it in at 2 1/4 and drag your blade down to 5 1/2. Now you just want to cut these two panels off, and I'm going to do that in my trimmer. I'm just going to turn this over and I'm going to cut down to 2 1/4. And then I just cut up to that same line. So that's going to give me this T shape here. And so these two panels here are going to be your gates, and this panel here is going to be your easel. So I'm going to give them a good score with my bone folder, and this is what you have so far. Next, we're going to take some of our designer series paper, and I've cut 4 panels the same size. Your PDF is located below this video, so you can get your measurements on there. And now I just want to see how this is going to lay out before I put my paper together. So this is the piece of crumb cake cardstock that's going to be attached on the bottom here. So when your card is closed, it's going to look like this. And when your card is open, it's going to stand up like that. So if I know that this piece is going to be the center when the card is opened, I want to get probably something that's plain to go on the outside. So we'll just use this one. And then when this is closed, I will use these for the outside. Just be careful because this designer paper has lettering on it. So you want to make sure that you're going in the correct direction. So what you can do is just put some snail adhesive right on the back of those panels, and then just center them on the panels of your gatefold card. And first I'm doing my outside, and then I'll move on to the inside. So it doesn't really matter how you line these up as long as they're lined up with each other so that the bottoms are lined up with the tops. You're going to open that up and do exactly the same thing with the inside panels. Okay, so once you have your outside panels done and your inside panels done, you're going to put your designer series paper on this piece of crumb cake cardstock, and now you're going to go and attach it to this piece, but you're only going to put adhesive up to this line. So what I like to do is put the adhesive on here, and I'm going to be using some sticky strip because I want to make sure that this stays where it's supposed to be. But don't go all the way to the edge because it's just a hair shorter than the paper. So you want to make sure that you don't have any of it sticking out. So I'm going to put one on the top and I'm going to put one on the bottom here. And it's not heavy, so it's going to hold pretty well anyway. So you're going to take something to remove the adhesive backing here, this red tape from the sticky strip. Once you've taken the adhesive backing off the sticky strip, you're going to line this up so that it almost comes to the bottom. It's just a hair short, and then rub. And that's going to attach it. So when this is closed, this is what you see. And when it opens up, this is going to be your easel. So now for the inside, I cut a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to take a piece of ribbon to go across that's going to hold my easel. So I'm just going to use a little piece of Early Espresso ribbon. You can use any ribbon. I like this one because it's decorative, but it's not too decorative. So I'm going to put a glue dot, attach it to the back. I'm going to pull this across the front, and then I'm going to put another glue dot on this piece and adhere it. Make sure that that's straight. trim off the excess. You're going to apply adhesive to the back of that and then just line it up on the inside and adhere. Once you adhere that, that's going to be the lip that your easel's going to rest against. And now we're going to decorate this piece here as well as our outside. I'm going to take a piece of very vanilla cardstock and our stamp set called 1,000,001, and this has 2 stamps in it, and I love both of them. I just love the scrolliness of them, and I like that you can use 2 of them together. So what I'm going to do is mount those on clear mounts, and then I'm going to use some early espresso ink. I'm going to stamp the first one here, and then I'm going to stamp the second one on the other side. I'm going to use framelits to cut these out, so I'm going to give myself plenty of room. I don't know exactly which framelit I'm going to use size-wise, so I want to give myself a little bit of room. It's okay that they're crooked. I didn't take any time lining them up when I mounted them because I knew I was going to be cutting them out with framelits. I'm going to be using the label framelits. I'm going to start with the number 3. These are the opposite of what I usually do. I usually number them from the outside inside. This is numbered the 3rd smallest I'm taking. And I'm going to do the 1,000,001 with the 3rd smallest. You're going to center your framelit over your greeting. This is a magnetic platform, which makes that very easy. If you don't have a magnetic platform, you're going to be using your multi-purpose platform on tab 2. You're going to cover this with another cutting plate and run it through the Big Shot. You're going to remove that, and this is going to be too small for your fabulous greeting, so you're going to go to the next size. Now these nest in each other really nicely, so what I'm going to do is first I'm going to cut out my greeting, and I'm going to center that over the greeting, cover it with a cutting plate, run it through the Big Shot, and then I'm going to cut a piece of crumb cake so that when I want to border my 1,000,001, I can use crumb cake for that. So let's run this through the Big Shot, and when I'm through, I have my Fabulous Is What You Are, and I have the crumb cake backing for this. So I want to add some interest to this background. I'm going to put it into a textured impressions folder. This is beautifully Baroque. I'm going to sandwich it between 2 cutting plates with a multi-purpose platform that is on tab 1, and I'm going to run it through the Big Shot. Okay, so now that I have those pieces, I'm going to take a Stampin' Sponge and some crumb cake ink, and I'm going to just rub the crumb cake on the front of my piece of cardstock that has the impression on it. And as you can see, it just picks up a little bit of it on the raised portions, and I'm going to go sponge the edges. It kind of distresses it a little bit, which goes well with the Designer Series paper that we're using. I'm going to do the same thing to the edge of the greetings, both for inside and outside. So now to assemble this, what we're going to do is just use some snail adhesive on this fabulous greeting here, and we're going to use that for the inside. Then for the outside, I'm going to adhere the greeting to this piece of cardstock that we texturized. And once you have that texture on there, it's a little bit more difficult to get a nice adhesion from one piece of cardstock to the other. So I like to use a stronger adhesive, either a Tombow or a glue dot. So now to attach this greeting to the front, I know I have to put my adhesive before the point because the point is in this groove here and you don't want it to stick to the inside cardstock. So I'm going to use a piece of sticky strip, but what I want to do is I want to make sure that that sticky strip does not go near that point because you don't want to go too far because then you're going to end up in trouble. So I'm going to put 2 pieces, one here and then one closer to the edge. You're going to remove the backing to that sticky strip, exposing the adhesive. So when you remove the adhesive backing to that sticky strip, you're going to put these 2 points right there in the center of your gates and adhere. So you're only adhering on that one side so that you can open and close. So here's your card this way, and then it opens this way. So now we're going to just put a couple of pearls on here to decorate this. So I'm going to use one of the larger pearls from my sheet, and I'm going to put that right here in the center. And I'm going to do the same thing at the top where I have one of the larger pearls there. And then I'm going to take 2 of the medium pearls and I'm going to just put them to either side to accent it. Now when you're removing the pearls from the sheet, make sure that you get underneath it so that you're picking the adhesive up with it, because it's easy to just miss that and just come under and take the pearl, and then your adhesive will be left on your sheet and your pearl won't stick properly. So you're going to get that position and adhere. And then I'm going to do a smaller version on the inside. So I'm going to take the medium pearl and put that on the bottom and the top, and then one of the tiny pearls on either side, both bottom and top. So now to finish this off, I'm going to take the Very Vintage designer buttons, and I'm going to be using this decorative one here, and I'm going to take my 7/8 inch scallop punch and a piece of matching cardstock to my paper. And what I want to do is distress this a little bit so that it goes with the rest of the card. And then I'm going to take a couple of glue dots to adhere this button right to the front of my cardstock. And then I'm going to go back to my pearls, but this time I'm using one of the very large pearls. This comes in its own separate sheet. And I'm going to center that over the buttonholes and adhere. The last thing that I'm going to do is put a couple of glue dots on the back of that, and I'm going to adhere that up here in the corner to finish it off. The last thing I'm going to do is put a piece of scrap paper down, and I'm going to take our Vanilla Smooch Spritz and I'm going to just hold the card closed. Now the trick to this is to stay far away, because you kind of just want to get a mist. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but here's your card closed. You're going to open it and you're going to be fabulous. So that's your Gatefold Easel card tutorial for today. There's a PDF located below this video with instructions. Of course, if you have any questions for me, you can always email me at Cathy@StampsAndScrapbooks.com. And if you're interested in online classes, you can check mine out at www.StampAcademy.com.